A very brutal designer's office is made entirely of stone, and one more with the use of modern. And here they show an absolutely amazing wall covering. You'll never guess what it's made of. I didn't either. There are rare pieces all around. They are basically natural sculptures made of. Hi friends, we continue our work around Paris, and in this video we got to know the participants of an event that runs parallel to Maison&Objet. It's called Paris Deco Off, and mainly represents companies from the decorative sector, as the name suggests. They are mainly companies that deal with textiles and wallpapers. But not only. We'll start our work with the pop-up location of Passage Saint-Sulpice, which appeared on Place Saint-Sulpice directly under the Church of Saint-Sulpice. The church itself is of great interest, so I recommend stopping by here whether there is an event going on or not. In this passage there are mostly French companies represented, and there are also English and Americans. The English present here have very interesting leathers, which are of course the best dressing you can think of, and in general a good tone to buy separately, or rather order leather for upholstering your furniture. The best decorators, as far as I know, do it this way. This applies to fabrics as well. As for interesting fabrics, there is a company here that specializes in expensive woolen fabrics. It is alpaca and cashmere, and it all feels and looks very cool. The Americans offer fabrics and carpets for outdoor use that can be washed with a hose if needed. The French are of course more delicate. There is a lot of handwork and handicraft practices. This applies to the manufacture of wallpapers in different styles, such as those that we call Provence, and some Art Deco. This style in France has always been alright. This is a very interesting approach to applying the principles of sustainable development. At first glance, it may be unclear where craft ends and sustainable development begins. However, there are indeed fascinating examples that bridge the two concepts. One young lady makes decorative cushions out of the leftover fabrics from the fashionable Chanel and no less fashionable textile house of Pierre Frey. They use everything that becomes scrap to create new decorative objects, including ceramics. It surprised me that all ceramics, including dismantled tiles, can be repainted in a new way. As for the use of, for example, eggshells, they have already seen such examples, but nevertheless the panels made by the French artists looks very expressive. Like any other exhibition event, this passage was not without trend zones. Here they presented 4 variants of modern offices. Now, due to recent developments and changes, the mass workforce widely uses flexible offices as open spaces that deprive us from privacy have become tiresome. From other hand, home offices have become very popular. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that executive offices and bosses' offices have not gone anywhere. And of course they should reflect the power, the idea of the company and the personalities of the bosses. Here several French authors share their vision. The designer's office is a more relaxed one. He is essentially on a chaise-longue. A very brutal designer's office is made entirely of stone, and one more with the use of modern composite technologies. Very cool looking lamp, which in addition to everything else is a mobile sculpture. All in all, it's all very entertaining and thought-provoking. What I like about urban exhibition events is the choice of locations, and the next one is the so-called Hôtel de l'Industrie. This building houses a society that supports the national French industry by promoting products made in France. So there are various companies here in the decoration field. First of all, textiles and carpets, but not only from France. There are Swedish carpets and there are French carpets. Fabrics from all over the world are available, including Spain, France, Germany, Italy, and even silk from Laos. And as for the design of fabrics, I am not very well versed in this issue, but it seems to me that textile companies always have two challenges. On the one hand, textile companies face the challenge of preserving the tradition of production, including the extraction of source materials, digging up designs from archives and restoring them. On the other hand, to make fabrics partly more practical that will serve long enough and, most importantly, will not lose their look for a long time, which I think is very important in today's world. Paris Deco Off is also a platform for various quite interesting collaborations. Here, for example, in the bathroom showroom. It's quite a respected French brand with a long history and such a traditional approach. During the event, it joined forces with 3 other companies. One produces furniture, the second creates expressive lamps made of bronze with the use of rock crystal, showcasing exquisite craftsmanship on stone and metal, and the third showcases intriguing objects. This is how the name of the company translates from French. I have seen them offer various decor in the form of butterflies and some corals, including at Maison&Objet fair, and here they show an absolutely amazing wall covering. You'll never guess what it's made of, I didn't either. It's beetle shells. In Laos, people eat beetles, and from their shells they put together this expressive, very artistic, bright accent wall covering. So when you eat bugs, friends, don't throw away the shells. At the Maison&Objet fair, we discovered that the shells of scallops, oysters and mussels should not be discarded. They can also serve as an excellent finishing materials. Fabrics still exhibit certain trends. It would be incorrect to claim that only a few archived designs are utilized. Fabrics are becoming more expressive with different techniques such as weaving or embroidery, and linen is adorned with absolutely fantastic flies. It's still bouclé, but grey and white is a little less in the spotlight, and colored, on the contrary, is gaining popularity. There is the introduction of some glitter, lurex, so to speak, that is such an elegant shimmer is also quite in demand. Tableware is also on the list of participants. In addition to tableware, there are also some fragrances, which are a must, and there are small lamps made of porcelain from which the tableware is made. There are bigger lamps, for example, in the Charles Gallery, which is a rather old manufacturer. They have organized a collaboration with a very fashionable guys. It's Uchronia. They were the authors of the Interior of the Year. They showcased their advanced designs at the last Paris Design Week in September 2023, making them a must-watch. And here they have made a whole collection of lamps together with the Charles manufacturer, of course in their signature style, quite bright and recognizable, with elements of pop art and a little bit of 70s aesthetics, which is quite in demand now. What a mysterious light had come. I love this twilight mood. I looked in other textile gallery, the showroom of a rather famous company, and here is a very good example of proper styling and storytelling. The main inspiration and luxury in the creation of new collections is the time we spend immersing ourselves in the history of design, finding sources of inspiration and reinterpreting them. The new collection is presented excellently, with attention to background, ambience and hanging, making it clear, visual and inspiring even for the inexperienced like me. Interestingly, it turns out that the famous London department store Liberty has a twin in the form of a fabric brand. The founder of the company is the same person, Arthur Liberty, and here as well everything is presented impeccably, just like in the Liberty department store in London. In terms of ambience, I like it more than any other of the famous London department stores like Harrods or Selfridges. Here is a botanical atlas featuring floral motifs from all over the world, including chinoiserie and Persian garden. The second collection, an antithesis of the first, draws inspiration from futurism, specifically retrofuturism and the avant-garde era. And then it turns out that we go back to the Maison&Objet exhibition, to the installation of Elisabeth Le Riche, where she combines natural motifs with graphic patterns. The overall theme of the exhibition revolves around looped designs and the combination of natural motifs with graphic. That's it for today, as it's getting a little dark. But it's not over yet. Let's take a short break and move to the right bank of Seine tomorrow, and I walk around the showrooms there. Another initiative within this Paris Deco Off event that we need to mention as we move from the left bank of Seine to the right bank is called Matériaux et Merveilles, translated as Materials and Wonders. Mauricio Clavero-Kozlovsky, a designer of Chilean origin who has been working in Paris for 20 years, created several installations for this initiative. They are organized in several galleries and each has its own theme. I visited Constellation, a constellation of the best furniture and decor manufacturers in France, organized in the showroom of the oldest sofas craftsmen. They started in 1840 with horse saddles and worked so well with leather that they decided to make sofas as well. The chairs on display here are of Chilean design. They are very interesting because even though they provide semi-reclining seating, it is very easy to sit and stand up due to the moving mechanism. The chairs feature gradient leather in vibrant colors. Gradient is already a trend, at least I've seen a lot of it in different interpretations. There are rare pieces all around. They are basically natural sculptures made of lapis lazuli and jasper. Don't ask how much they cost, but given their size, at least $1 billion. Lighting fixtures are made from ostrich eggshells, and all this represents the most luxurious constellation possible. An installation called Living Matter can be found in another gallery. There is a combination of alabaster lamps, lacquer panels, and hand-carved furniture, and the main character is light. The light creates this very intimate atmosphere through the marble plafonds. It is the reflection from the handmade lacquer panels that reflects on the exquisite hand-carved patterns of the furniture. And we have already seen another installation, the third on this route, called Garden of Imagination. This is the showroom of the bathroom company where we saw this amazing covering made of beetle shells. I always like it very much when there is a single idea, a strong curator, and such a mix that awakens all the senses, both sight and hearing, because there is music everywhere, tactile sensation from touching these exquisite materials, and even to a certain extent smell, because somewhere there is an aroma decor. I don't know if it's a coincidence or if it is well thought out, but I get a certain impression. The right bank, Paris Deco Off cluster, is located on the Rue de Mai and on the Place des Petits Pères, the square of Little Fathers. The Little Fathers are Augustinian monks who used to sit here. Mainly fabrics are presented here, but not only that, there are also carpets, wallpapers and some furniture showcased in these fabrics. The companies are completely different. There are Americans, Germans, French, British and even Danes. Here, all the top brands gather and coexist in close proximity. High-end textile houses also collaborate with fashion houses, and there were some interesting collaborations shown here that are more in line with the aesthetics of the fashion house than the textile house that produces the fabrics. I really liked the various installations made in greenhouses, but as I've already said, fabrics are not really my thing. Nevertheless, the color selection is very interesting, and in general, even by such fragmentary shots that the eye catches, the direction in the design is clear. I hope that now you too have a little more understanding of what Paris Deco Off is and how it differs from Maison&Objet. In fact, this time there are a significant overlap between Paris Deco Off and Maison&Objet, as Paris Deco now also focuses on home furnishing, and many of the petite participants could easily be participants in the Maison&Objet in the city event. But it doesn't really matter, because Paris is always interesting from the point of view of interior design, even when it's quite cold outside. If I've managed to inspire you in any way, please show your support by giving me a substantial like, leaving a kind comment, or sharing this video with a friend who may be interested. And we'll see you at the next event and on the next journey. To make sure you don't miss out, be sure to subscribe. And now that's it. Bye.